So once again, warm welcome. If you're just joining us, you are not late. We are just about 55 minutes to the start of the peer support session. We are 45 minutes to the 25 minutes to the start of technical support. But if you're here early, we are going to take advantage of this time that we have together and make the most use of it. So I said earlier that I was going to share something with you that you are probably the first a group of people to be aware of this. Many of you have been asking the question, how do I submit my root cause analysis? Where do I submit my root cause analysis? So I'm just going to show you how to do that. We have prepared a very short tutorial. It's less than 3 minutes long. And I'm just going to invite you to watch this tutorial. If you are connected on your computer, you can follow the instructions, or if you're connected on your phone and you have your computer close by, you can follow the instructions step by step, and you will be able to register on the peer review platform. So let me just go ahead and share my screen, and please do continue to leave your greetings in the chat. Tell us who you are, where you're joining from, and where you work, at what level of the system. Are you at the ward level, health facility, local government area level, state level, or at the federal level? So I hope you can all see my screen. I am putting it on the full screen mode, and then
Step one is to find the email that says you have been invited to register for Nigeria Immunization Collaborative. Now, you find this email in your inbox and click on Finish Registration. This is a blue, what we call a button. So click on this and you'll see a new window opens. And here you have an option to register. So to register, you'll put in your full name, your email, and this needs to be the same email you used to apply for the collaborative that you've been using in Zoom and you've been using throughout. If you use any other email, your participation will not be recognized. And so then you need a public username. So I'm just going to pick one of the ones suggested. Write this information down. Which email you used, you're going to have to remember it to be able to come back to the platform. And most important, make sure that you know what password you used. If you forget your password, you're not going to be able to register, and you're not going to be able to come back into the platform. So you need one letter, one number, and 8 characters. Once you do that, you can create an account for free. Now, here you go, you see my courses, and you don't see any courses. So this is where you need to go back to your email, and you'll see that you need to, there's an action required, which is to activate your Geneva Learning Foundation account. So you click on Activate Accounts, and now you can see the Nigeria Immunization Collaborative, and you can see Begin Course. You can ignore Upgrade. You don't need to click anywhere else. Just focus on Begin Course. Now, here you are. You get this Begin tour. You can skip for now. Click OK. And then you can click on Start Course. And you can see the root cause analysis is down here. But if you click on Start Course, it will take you to that unit. Now, here is the unit. You don't need to actually use this until you have completed your root cause analysis project. This is not just the 5 whys. This is all 5 sections of the project. And you can see the sections here. Explain your challenge, explain the most important root cause you found, stop and think, explain what difference this will make, and then explain what you propose to do. Now, once you have done all 5 of those things and written them up into a single document, then you'll be able to upload your file. I'll show you that in the next tutorial, but first, focus on actually writing up all 5 sections of your root cause analysis project.
Okay, so now you have watch the
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
Let me quit from YouTube. Okay, so you have watched a less than 3-minute tutorial on how to join the peer review platform. So you watch out for that email. Once you receive the email, in your inbox, then you should be able to follow the instructions. And I'm going to put the link to the tutorial in the chat for you. I'm going to put the link to the tutorial in the chat for you. That way, in your spare time, you can get to watch that tutorial, how to join the peer review platform. Okay, so okay, I also want to just take the temperature of those of you that are in the room. Please, if you want to if you want to speak, can you just raise your hand and tell us how you are doing? You just introduce yourself. Tell us if you have started writing your root cause analysis, at what stage you are. If you're facing any challenge, if you have any difficulty, now is the time you have the opportunity to raise your hand. And I'll be delighted to invite you to unmute yourself. If you have any challenge, any difficulty, any question, please, can you go ahead and raise your hand? I really want to hear from you. Okay, Bello Aruna. Bello Aruna, I'm asking you to unmute. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Eh? Okay. Hello?
Okay,
Good afternoon.
yes, Bello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Please, can you introduce yourself?
I am Bello Haruna from Jega local government of Kebbi State. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, my question is that I failed to 1 and the 2 meeting due to network failure. So I started yesterday on the 3. So how can I do now for the 2 days that I refused to attend due to network failure? This is my question.
Okay, thank you, Bello, for that question. So you have already started doing what you should do. You have joined today's peer support session. All the other instructions are in your email or on Telegram. You have the possibility of watching the recordings from the previous session and focus on writing your root cause analysis. So the question I'm going to ask you is, have you started writing your root cause analysis?
No, I did not start.
You do not start, but do you know how to go about it? Do you know what to do?
No, that is what I'm asking.
Okay.
That is my second question, sir.
So I'm going to share a document here in the chat. You download it. That document is the rubric. That is how to write your root cause analysis, how to carry out. There are 2 documents I'm going to upload in the chat now. You should download those 2 documents.
Okay.
It's very important. Yes, so that you should prepare to do your root cause analysis. But also, I want to invite you to follow attentively during today's session, because we are going to go step by step practically, so practically how you can carry out or and write your root cause analysis. So one last question I have for you is, what is your most important immunization challenge where you work? Bello, are you able to hear me? Bello Haruna, or are you able to hear me?
No, the network was not good.
Okay. So I was asking that, have you been able to identify your immunization challenge, your most important immunization challenge, something that you want to see change in your work?
Yes.
Okay. So can you share that with us?
Now? Hello?
Yes, now.
Okay.
Yes, now,
so
if you're able to speak.
Okay, the challenges that I'm facing, right, at my place of work.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
just the most important one for you.
okay. The most important is that some of the caregivers, if they brought a child for the first dose, it's hardly for them to come back for the second dose. These are the challenges I'm facing. Failure
Okay,
to
so
continue the next doses.
okay, so like a high dropout rate. Is that it?
Exactly. Dropout rate.
High dropout rate. So
Yeah.
what you have to do in this exercise is to like, do you have some data? How many children do you usually have for Penta 1? What is your coverage for Penta 1? Do you know your coverage for Penta 1?
Hello?
Yes.
It's 36.
Okay, 36.
Yes.
And for Penta 3?
Sorry?
For Penta 3, for
Penta 3.
DTC 3. Yes.
Penta 3. I used to have
Mhm.
29.
Okay, so now it means that number one, you already have a low vaccination coverage. So your root cause analysis will be for you to find out why do mothers come for the first dose and they do not come for the second dose?
Exactly.
Yes, and you have to ask why 5 times until you're able to determine what is the root cause.
Okay.
Okay. And
You
I've
said
put the documents that I say you have to ask the question why 5 times until you understand to get to the root cause. Yes. So the first why, I'm going to ask you, why do women come for the first dose and they don't come back for the second dose? Do you know why?
so. A little. What I think is that number one reason is sometimes they were not informed about AEFI, because when a child take first dose, the caregivers must be informed about AEFI, that the child will face a little bit fever, some AFI. So this, if the caregivers are not well informed, so it's hardly for them to come back for the second dose. This is what I think will
Okay.
be the reason why we have high dropout rate.
Okay. So your first reason is that they are because of AFI. So now,
Exactly.
and why did the health workers not inform them of AFI?
The reason is that sometimes you will see you have more patients or clients, I said. So if you say you take time for them to explain it one by one, it will take much time. When you are seeing the high number of the clients, so that one will make you not to inform the caregivers about the EFI, because sometimes the caregivers are not coming at once, they will come spontaneously. So if you say you wait for the first caregivers that come first and wait for the others, so those that came first, they will not wait for the others. So that is why you have to end the one you have.
So you want to say it is high workload for the caregiver, for the healthcare workers.
Exactly, high workload.
Okay. And so now the third why is going to be the next why. We'll be asking you, why is there high workload? So why are there too many mothers for the healthcare workers not to inform them about AFI?
Okay, the reason is that the health workers, they divided the session into two: one outreach, the second one fixed post. And you see a facility with one RI provider. And that fixed post is the one to cover the whole caregivers, the whole child that was brought to that clinic. He is the one that will do that. And you see a child will come for 2 vaccines, like when the person come for Penta 1, he will see Penta 1, PC1, or P1. So you see each child will carry at least 3 different vaccines. And you see the high numbers of the client. So you see that one will make the high workload for the caregiver, for the clients, because he's the only one in this facility rendering that services.
Okay, thank you, Bello. And now the fourth why is there only one healthcare worker, one for a fixed RI session? Why is there only one person? And that will take us now to the root cause of your problem, of your
Exactly.
challenge.
Okay.
Yeah. So why is it the person?
The reason is that you come to facility, the in charge of that facility will said he will make a roster. If he make a roster, in that process, he will try to change that. He will try to merge 2 or 3 RI providers in the fixed session. You will see that 2 RI providers will leave only one person doing the work. The reason is that they are not earning from there. So only one, the other RI providers will not stay there. They will go and look for where they will get the money. That is why one person will stay there, because the in charges will not allow all the other providers to leave the facility. He must make sure that there must be one person, one RI provider that will vaccinate the clients. So in that process, you see the other RI providers that were in roster to work on that day, they will not stay because they are not earning, they are not getting money. That is why they don't want to stay. So health workers are now persuading, they are leaving they don't want to go to that RI provider because they are not earning money. That is the reason.
Okay, so it's because they are not earning money. Now, that is to you is your root cause. The question I want to ask you, can you do something about this? What can you do to change the situation?
So what I can do from my own side is I will try to convince the other RI providers to at least stay in the facility to reduce the workload, the high workload, because one RI provider cannot cover the whole client that come stay in the health facility. Being one session in the one session per week, please just to sacrifice and stay and work or help the one RI provider so that to reduce the workload. This is what I can do. I will help. I will please help and one client, one help in time.
Okay, so Bello Aruna, what we have just done is a root cause analysis. Now, the additional information that you need to enrich the project you're to work on for this exercise is, to back up your claims. That is a high dropout rate, with data. That's number one. The number of sessions of RI sessions that they organize in the health facility per week. Explain the fact that, okay, it's only one RI provider that is available for the session and all of that, so that at the end you can now outline step by step what you will do to solve this challenge. So what I can advise you to do now is to take a pen and a paper, or if you're connected to your computer, you write down everything that you have just shared with us now.
I have
Is that okay?
I have a paper with me now.
Yeah, so you can already start practically just writing this down, because this is exactly what you're going to put in your project when you're writing your root cause analysis. Following the rubric that I shared in the chat, I'm going to share the document again in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. So is it template that I will follow to put my data?
You can choose to just open a Word document on your computer, and then yes, and then you follow that the guidance from that rubric, to write it. And if you want, we can develop a template or to help you.
It will help me if you can develop a template and send it to me. And it will be much better.
Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is to write everything down on a piece of paper so that you have it documented somewhere and you'll not forget. Is that okay?
Yes, all what I shared with you now, I have it written.
Okay, that's excellent then. All right, so thank you very much, Bello. Pardon?
Are you going to
I wasn't able to hear
tell me
you.
something to add, John?
No, just when you go through the rubric, just see whether there's any information that is missing. You can be able to add it, because there are some more questions
What
that
are
we
you going
ask
to
you.
tell me now?
I have already sent it it's here in the chat, and you have also received it by email. So just read all the emails that you have received from me, and you will see that all the documents that you need are already in your inbox.
Okay.
All right, so thank you. I'll have to end it with you here now, and just to say welcome to all of you that have joined us while we were listening to and doing a practical root cause analysis with our colleague Bello Haruna. If you're just joining, you're not late. In fact, we are officially 36 minutes to the start of the peer support session and 4 minutes to the start of the technical support. And for those who joined pretty early, I had a surprise for you. You were able to watch a video tutorial of how to join the peer review platform. We are going to come back to that later on. But as I said, this was a time given to you to ask if you have any questions or challenge. And so far, we have listened only to Bello Aruna. I want to turn to Musbahu Abubakar. Are you able to unmute? Or Zubai Lamba? The first person to unmute, you have the floor.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
I'm
Good
Zubair
afternoon
Lamba.
to you. Yes.
My own question lies what exactly you can do to fix this challenge, to fix the challenge. So if you go down there, it says explain. Sorry, it says if the challenge is different in other places, write how you will change your plan for each places. Are you getting me?
Please, can you come again? Yeah, please come again.
It says, the question says directly, if the challenge is different, if my own challenge, my root cause analysis, the root cause I've gotten, if it's different from in other places, how will I change my plan for each place?
Yeah, so if it's really about if it is a challenge that you cannot act on, if you are not able to act on that challenge, if you cannot do something about it, it means you have to go back to look for another cause. You understand? Because you should be able to do something about it. So if you're not able to do something about it, it means you will not be able to solve the challenge.
Okay, if I'm getting it right, apart from the solution that I offer, I try to offer. Hello?
Yeah, so yes, so for example, can you just share your challenge with us?
The root cause?
Yes, what is your challenge and what is the root cause that you were able to get?
It's lack of supervision and
Okay,
proper
lack
working
of
document. Supervision.
supervision. So what
Yeah.
was the challenge? That is the root cause. Can you tell us the challenge?
Before the first why?
Yes.
That's incomplete RI, routine immunization. So I had to ask,
Okay.
why does what's the cause of that? And I got a response of always have an issue with the spouse on each visit. I went ahead and asked what do you think causes the issue with your spouse or husband per se? And it says they have challenges with access to the clinic because of the distance and long waiting time if they arrive at the clinic, plus low benefits they got from the vaccination. So I have to ponder on the why. The next why was what's causing the long waiting time on arrival. The response was the negligence of the staff. I asked, why do you think there is negligence of the staff? said most probably it's because of lack of supervision. I thought of lack of supervision and lack of proper working documents. That's where I got my root cause.
Okay, so now the question I want to ask you is, Zubai, at what level of the health system are you working?
Federal.
Local government area? Are you at the local government area level, or you're in the health facility?
Federal health facility. Federal.
Okay, you are at a federal health facility.
Yes.
Okay, so now the question is, do you play, so are you a supervisor? Are you able to supervise the work of RI providers?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Partake
and
in
do you
some.
have access? Yeah, do you have access to guidance, that is guiding documents on how to conduct a good RI session?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so now do you have an idea of the actions that you can take to solve that problem?
Yes, I have an idea.
Okay, so I hope that your question has now been answered.
Yes, I've gotten it here.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I told Bello Aruna. If you have started writing your root cause analysis, please let's make good use of this time so you can just continue writing so that you'll be ready to submit tomorrow.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So I want to do some gender balance. We have listened to two men, so I'm going to turn towards a woman now. So if you're a man, please just lower your hand so that we can listen. We can do some gender balance. That is part of our rules of fairness. So I'm going to ask Anifat Egunjobi. Anifat, I'm asking you to unmute. Or if not, we'll go to Lilian Muchua.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Anifa.
Yes, hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you for this session, for organizing this session. What I want to ask is that I've already jotted all my root cause analysis down, all the rubric.
Yeah.
But the challenges that I'm having is that my drop box is giving me a lot of problem. I don't know how I can write it, because before, the one that we have done before, because I joined this the Geneva Learning Foundation around 2020 during COVID-19. So I've used to it, but now the drop box is giving me problem, because I used to write it as I used to follow the question before. Now I don't know how to do it. So that's it. In fact, I am on my system now. But I was listening to you when you were talking to Bello the other time, that he can use the system, the document alone, Word document, to write it, then taking it to, but I'm not clear about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Anifat, and that is a great question. So just to answer you, the rubric is just there to guide you. Now you can open a blank Word document on your computer and write on it. You don't need Dropbox. You don't need Dropbox for the exercise. Dropbox was just used on day 2 and day 3 because of the group work. So going forward, you don't need Dropbox to submit your work. All you need is to open a Word document and do your root cause analysis, and then you will be able to submit it. And I'm putting the link to a tutorial in the chat where you can join the peer review platform. And for you who have done programs with us in the past, you knew a previous platform we were using, but for this exercise, it's a different platform that you have to join. And I put the link to a less than 3-minute tutorial in the chat that you should watch. And when the time comes, we are going to tell you that you can check your email for the registration email that you receive in order to submit your root cause analysis. I don't know if that answers your questions,
Thank you.
Anifa. Okay.
Yes, it answered my questions. So I don't know there
Okay.
is a link to submit, because the 5 wives that I've done before, I submitted it in a Dropbox.
Yeah, so no, it's different.
So
So please,
funny.
okay,
Okay.
that's excellent. It's good you asked the question, because please, you are not going to submit your root cause analysis by email. You are not going to submit it in Telegram. You are not going to submit it in Dropbox. If you do it that way, you will not be able to do peer review, and colleagues will not be able to peer review your work. So it is important that you follow
Thank
our instructions as to where to submit
Okay.
your root cause analysis.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay. Thank you. The link
Okay.
will be sent to me today, Abby. I'll be able to
Yes,
submit
by
everything,
email.
because I'm typing my RCA now. I've already jotted it.
Yes, so
Thank you
just
so
continue
much.
typing. And please be patient. We are going to do a tutorial. And by the end of today's peer support session, I'm going to show you again that tutorial, how to join the platform. And we are going to do another tutorial that will share with you how to submit. So please just be patient and be listening and learning and see how to improve your root cause analysis.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm grateful.
Thank you too.
Yes.
Okay, so there was another mic that was unmuted. That was Mary Gloria Oji. Mary Gloria, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Charlotte. And I'm actually enjoying this program, because it's the first time I'm doing something this way. And some of the things I had wanted to ask, you have explained them, and according to you, there will still be further room for more explanations and illustrations. But my own is actually on my root cause analysis. I feel that where I stopped, there was still need to ask more questions instead of just stopping at the 5 whys. So I don't know, do I just stop there and then, continue talking about, okay, what are the solutions and the rest? Or do I still continue asking myself the whys? Because somehow I just feel it's scattered. In fact, I've done 3 different root cause analysis, and I found out I was having different branches. That's in the first one, I'll end up having different, answers. Second one, so I don't know how to like harness and then get them all together.
Okay, thanks, Gloria. Thanks, Mary. That is Mary Gloria. That's a very interesting question. And I'm thinking, as you were talking, I was thinking about the illustration that was made by Jenny Sequeira, our guide yesterday, when she talked about peeling the layers of an onion. And so, there are some onions, depending on the size, it might have 15 layers, 20 layers, 25 layers. So it's the same way we can say, okay, you ask why 5 times. But if the 5th time you still feel that there is a need for you to ask more why, then it means that there is more to that onion. So you have to peel off another layer. So I think you can continue until you know that there is a root cause that you can act upon. I don't know if that answers your question, Mary. It looks like we have lost. I want to make sure that Mary Gloria is still in the room. Yes. So I'm asking you to unmute again if you're able to.
Okay, I've done that now. Yes. Hello,
So,
you can hear me now. Yes, the explanation is very, very fine. It's okay. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you too. Okay, so I'm going to listen to 2 more, and then we are going to go through the slides before a couple of slides before we take more questions. So I'm turning towards Obiageli Victoria. Victoria, are you able to unmute yourself? I'm asking you to unmute. Obiageli Victoria. Okay, Idris Saleh.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
As my name appeared, I'm Idris Ali from Barbara Local Government, Jigawa State. I'm presently routine immunization focal fasting at Barbara General Hospital. I just want to make some additional suggestion on what Bello Haruna from Sokoto said, Jega from Jega said, regarding the workload. He mentioned
Yes.
as the reason they were not being able to give the messages on the possible AFI. As health professionals and routine immunization service provider, you should always should try as much as possible while giving the services, while giving the injections, telling them simultaneously the possible AFI. And if we could remember, we are having key messages to deliver to our client or client relatives. So by simultaneously giving the injection and giving the key messages, this will definitely help you reduce the burden of the AFI or the implications leading to the low coverage from his facility. And if I may say the key messages, one of them, as I just mentioned, is telling the caregiver the possible AFI, then what vaccine you are giving her child, and when to come back for the subsequent visits, and the rest of it. So I'm appealing to all of us, please. It is our work, and we are aware that many people are not conversant with routine immunization services. Although we would like all healthcare professionals in our facility to put all hands on the deck to provide the services. But you cannot do it. You cannot convince everyone to accept that. The truth is that we people who accepted routine immunization service delivery, we people who agreed to deliver it, we are the only people who can do it. I think day before yesterday, we discussed a challenge on non-acceptance of vaccines among healthcare professionals. This is telling you that we routine immunization service providers were the only persons, even in the cycles of the health professionals, who can do the work, and the challenge and the burden is on us. Am I communicating?
Thank you, Idris Saleh. Yes, we are hearing you loud and clear.
Okay. So please adhere, or we should adhere to do it, and simultaneously given the vaccines and given the key messages at the same time. God willing, we will achieve or we will achieve the desired coverage. Thank you.
Thank you so much for highlighting that, Idris Saleh. That's one of the reasons why we have the collaborative, this peer-to-peer learning and experience sharing, also awareness raising on some best practices and how we can better take action to improve upon immunization service delivery. So I see our guy, Jenny Sequeira, is already here, but I don't want to turn towards her now. I want us to listen to one last person, Fatima Abdullahi. Fatima, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Charlotte?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
So I'm fine. I actually have two questions to ask. The first one is, instead of using a Word document, can we use the note taker template to write your own root cause analysis? Because I've been working mine on the same note taker. So is it okay if I use the note taker template to do instead of using the Word? That is my first
Yeah.
question. Okay.
Okay, just a quick answer, yes, but just make sure maybe the table at on top was adapted for group work, so you may have to take it out.
Okay. And my second question is, the second part of the note taker template, there is a place in that yellow box where it is written, right when that question, can you really fix this challenge and what might happen if you try to do that? Yes, I have my own thing. And if you look at that yellow box, there is a place where they write anything, but write any bad things that might happen if you try to fix that challenge. So this is where I have a problem. I said, which kind of bad things? I said, to you that wanted to try to change the challenge, or maybe in the community or at the settlement level. That is my question. I'm a little bit confused with this question.
Okay, so that question is kind of like a risk assessment.
Yes.
And it's to help you to think critically about what could happen. That is, what risk might accompany the actions that you're taking, so that you can try to see how to mitigate, so that you can try to see what you can do to make sure that a bad thing will not happen. So yeah, so that is what it actually is about. That we really want you to think about it. Think, is it going to have positive results, or maybe are you going to go and cause, if it's about a community engagement, are you going to do something that can cause an uprising in the community? If that is the case, what can you do to mitigate that? What other action can you take so that such a thing will not happen? So that's just an example I'm giving.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Okay, thank you too. All right, so there are still so many hands raised. At some point, I'm going to lower all hands so that we can quickly go through the slides. But I'd like to turn towards Jenny. Jenny, I don't know at what point you joined us, but there are a number of technical questions or some things that were shared. I don't know if you have any further advice to share in terms of root cause analysis, because we had Mary Gloria that asked an interesting question. She said after asking the 5 whys, she thought that the last answer she had to the feed why still warranted her to ask another why. And I used your illustration of an onion having many layers, and different numbers of layers. At times you have to peel a little bit further to get to the center of the onion. So Jenny, I don't know if you're able to speak now.
Thank you, Charlotte. Yes, I joined just before Mary Gloria talked about her challenge. And I absolutely agree with you, because the 5 whys is a principle. It's not a rule, it's a principle. And when you have a principle, you follow the spirit of the principle. You don't have to follow, it's not like a law that you have to follow the letter of the law. And so onions are different. Some onions have many layers, some onions have less layers. And in your particular situation, you might end up with 3 whys and you feel, okay, I've gotten to the root. This is really what this issue is about. If you've done the 5 whys and you think there's still something more, please keep peeling. And I think that's wonderful how you, Charlotte, gave that feedback, and how Gloria is asking about wanting to do more than 5 whys. So that's brilliant. I didn't quite understand the question that came afterwards, the right before Fatima. I know there was more of a technical question. Could you repeat the question?
So Idris Saleh wasn't really asking a question. He was kind of like giving feedback on a root cause that was shared by Bello Aruna before you joined Jenny. So Bello said his challenge was, high dropout rate. So mothers come for the first dose of a vaccine, Penta, and then they don't come back. And so when he did his root cause analysis to understand the 5 whys, he concluded that it was because the first why was actually that the RI provider do not inform, was because of AFI, that is the mother's fear of AFI. And when he asked why, he said because the RI providers do not inform mothers about AFI, warn them about AFI. And he asked why, he said because of the way the RI sessions are organized organized, only one person is in charge of the session, and usually there are so many caregivers that because they have to administer so many antigens, they don't have enough time to inform around AFIs. And so when asked why is there only one person running a session, because of the way the work is organized at the health facility, and that other people who are not involved in RI, they prefer to go carry out activities that could make them have money rather than doing RI that is free of that is free. So Idris was kind of like giving feedback and sharing that it is good to inform the RI provider. It's not only about reorganizing work, but having RI providers do the right thing. So yeah, I think that was kind of like the basis of that feedback.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because generally when you look at dropout rates and you dig beneath, it has to do with something related to service quality. Generally, that doesn't have to be always that issue. And if there's ways that you can improve service quality, if there's only one health worker, that's a big challenge. And if there's lots of caretakers bringing their kids for vaccination, that's a challenge. But on the other hand, I've been to other countries where they have one health worker, and they'll start a session by giving just a 3-minute quick talk to everybody, start the session, and then maybe a half hour later stop the session and do another very quick, like micro chats, just giving quick information to the whole group. And if there's a persistent challenge with high dropout rates, there might be a way to do it with one person, or maybe there are things that need to be discussed with the officer in charge at the health facility to reorganize how the services are delivered. So there's many things that could be going on, but I think the advantage of peer learning is that you want to get ideas from other peers who have similar challenges. And so I would encourage Idris and Bello to reach out when they have peer learning sessions to ask, do you know of any health worker that just is one health worker providing RI services? If so, how do they deal with making sure that they are able to give some health talks or even interpersonal communication while they're giving the vaccination to each of the kids? So many different things to think about, but the power of these sessions is really peer-to-peer. So I hope that there's other peers who are able to give advice to Idris and Bello. Thanks, Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Jenny. And just to say, please, we may not be able to listen to everyone because we don't have much time, but you can type in your thoughts, your comments in the chat, your feedback, your ideas, and also your questions in the Q&A, and we will try to look at those as much as possible. And so we still have about 7 minutes, so I think we can listen to one more person. Fatima Zara, I invited you, and Emmanuel. So, okay, Fatima, over to you.
Hello, good day, Charlotte.
Good day to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to make an observation, but I think I've clarified it with the person personally. He added my name to his group, and I didn't even see him in my group. So I was wondering why my name was in his group. And he named the group also Room 9. So you have 2 Room 9s or 2 Group 9s in your submission list, which kind of confused me. So I was wondering if you gave 2 rooms the same number or what was the issue, but I didn't really understand what he was trying to explain to me personally or privately.
And there's no way in Zoom that 2 rooms can have the same number, but right now, I'll just want to ask you to really focus on the root cause analysis, and
Yes,
don't worry about the room issues.
Yes, I
Because
understand. I
yeah,
understand.
that's okay.
Thank you. That's just
We
what
know
I
you were
wanted to ask, but we have corrected it. We've discussed it privately.
okay. So we know you were
Yeah.
present, and that's okay.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. So how are you doing with the root cause analysis?
It's quite, I'm getting it. I'm almost done with mine. So I'm just trying to understand how I can submit it because I have not yet submitted. So I was just trying to find out, was I going to submit it through? I almost made the mistake of submitting it at the Dropbox, but I just found out that it's not longer in the Dropbox. So I will watch the procedure on YouTube, tutorial on
Okay.
YouTube, and I'll understand.
Yes, and don't worry, we are going to come back to it towards the end of the peer support session again to show you there is another guidance that we have prepared to show you step by step how to do that.
Okay, then I received another mail saying there's another link to register in. Is it the same? Okay, maybe at the end. Thank you so much. I will follow to the end of the class so that I understand everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too.
Yeah, bye.
Emmanuel Suleiman. I prepared a short poll to get the temperature, to get how you are doing. I'm going to launch the poll in a couple of minutes, but let's listen to one more person. Margaret Dixon, the first to unmute, has the floor. Margaret Dixon, I'm asking you to unmute. Kamal Yusuf.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. I have this question. I am done with my root cause analysis. So the thing I did it on Microsoft Word, and I followed that template that you shared with us, the example of the root cause analysis. So I'm wondering, I heard you said we can do it in that note-taker template.
So Kamal, just to reassure you, if you use the other document, it is okay as long as all the information is there, as long as all the information concerning the root cause analysis and the actions that you can take to solve your challenge. If everything is there, no problem. You don't need to change anything.
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too. So I'm launching, let me see, we have a poll here. I'm going to launch a poll. So you're going to see a series of questions that appear on your screen. It's just one question. How are you doing? And it's for you just to select one answer. So if you can do so, I have started writing my root cause analysis. I have finished writing and I am ready to submit. I have not started my root cause analysis. I am lost and I need help. So if you're able to, I'm just going to give you 2 minutes to respond to the poll. And once you respond to the poll, can you type done? Can you just type yes in the chat? Have you responded to the poll? So can you type yes in the chat? Okay, done. That is good. We are 310 in the room. For now, we have not yet reached 200. So please go ahead and respond to the poll. We have 2 minutes to respond to the poll. Okay,
and
excellent.
just to say hello, everybody. Just to say, if you haven't started yet, tell us. Don't be afraid to tell us. We're here to support you. We'd rather know that than, so don't feel that you have to say you've started if you have not. And conversely, we can see that there are already some people who have in fact finished and are ready to submit. And I just want to say hello to everyone. I was in another meeting, but keeping a listening ear to this one. This is a very impressive group from Nigeria that has come together. So I wish you well in a productive session working with Auntie Charlotte.
Thanks, Reda. And yeah, so you have just about 30 seconds to finish to respond to this poll. So please just answer, take the poll. So I'm seeing out of 314, only 205 have answered to the question, how are you doing? And I'm going to be asking you this question every day the end of this exercise, because we are here to support you. Do not suffer in silence. So your response will determine how we can do better to support you. So please go ahead and respond. So about 100 people have not yet answered the poll. Just click, it's there on your screen, it's there on your computer. So you just need to choose one of the answers. I have started writing my root cause analysis. I have finished. And I have not started. And
the other
I am
thing,
lost.
Charlotte, I'm sure you've already said this, but I feel compelled to repeat it, which is, when Charlotte says, have you started writing your RCA? That's not just the 5 whys. The 5 whys is where you start to find a root cause, but then there are 4 other things you need to do. And it's those 4 other things that need to be in your RCA project. So just to clarify that, if you've done the 5 whys, we encourage you to look at them again to make sure that they make sense and that they actually get you to a root cause you can do something about.
Thanks, Reda. So I am going to end the poll now and share the results with you. So as you can see on the screen, we have almost 66% of those who responded. So we had a 71% response rate. So 226 out of 316, that is great. We're able to take the poll, and 66% say they have started. We have 7%, 15 that have actually finished and ready to submit. 35 have not started, and we have 27 that are lost and need help. So warm welcome to the peer support session, because we are here to help you. We are here to learn from you, especially if you don't need support. If you are through with your root cause analysis, you're ready to submit, it means probably you don't need support, but you are here to help. So thank you for showing up today. This is really very important for us. Okay, so I'm going to just give me a moment to close the poll, and then we can move forward with sharing our screen. I may have to stop sharing for a moment. Okay, yeah. Too many things on my screen. Okay, so we are here, like I said, today is really day 4 of the Nigeria Immunization Collaborative, and it's our very first peer support session. And we're really focusing on root cause analysis of your priority immunization challenge in order to look for ways to solve this. And so just a quick recap, I want to thank and recognize our guides that are here for today's session. And also to just say, even though we don't turn to them often, but we know that their input and their feedback is valuable to support scholars as they work on their root cause analysis. So this is just a reminder of the time commitment that is required of you for this exercise, and also for you to make the most of the session, for you not to have interruptions in your participation. It's good if you could block incoming calls so that your connectivity, usually in Zoom, if you're using a phone to connect or you are using a phone to share the internet with your computer, if you receive a phone call during a session, it disconnects you from Zoom. So it's good to pay attention to that. And also just a quick reminder of key and important dates. Where are we? So it's really about you writing your project now, and you have to submit your draft root cause analysis tomorrow. Tomorrow is the deadline. So
Charlotte, sorry to interrupt, but you're not sharing your screen unless, okay.
Oh, really?
My mistake. Sorry. Sorry, my mistake.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to be surprised. All right. So thank you, Reda. Okay. So just to say, you have up till tomorrow to submit your draft root cause analysis, and then you'll have to do 3 peer reviews and then submit a revised final version. And so this is just the same reminder, so that everything just ticks in and you are well aware of what we are supposed to be doing. Now, if you have any challenge or any difficulty, and I actually so much like the response from this group, join the peer support session. This is the sessions where you give help and you receive help, where you ask questions and get support from guides. So if you're having any challenge, these peer support sessions are organized for you to help you. And it was incredible to see that the room was open today 1 hour ahead of time. And in the first minute, we had over 40 people in the room. That's remarkable, a remarkable show of solidarity for those who don't have any problems, but showing up to support others, and also a desire not to suffer in silence and to ask for help. So once again, I just want to commend the group for that. Okay, so really, once again, we want to encourage you, if you have been able to join this session today, there should be no reason for you not to be able to finish your root cause analysis. And I think everything is being done for you to obtain all of the support and the help that you need to do so. There is time pressure. Yes, we have just 2 days to write your root cause analysis. You have just 5 days to complete peer reviews and 5 days to submit a revised version. But that, I think, with the right time management, you should be able to make it to the end without any difficulty. Final reminder, your project is due tomorrow, 10:59 p.m. West African time, Abuja time, 10:59 p.m. That is the deadline. And as we said earlier, no extensions will be allowed because of how much this exercise, the future of your colleagues and your peers, lies on you, depends on you. So it's very important to respect the deadline if you want your colleagues to make it through with the exercise. So today, what are we going to be doing? We will help you to write your own root cause analysis. And if you are not connected, if you're connected on your phone and you don't have your computer with you, I'll advise you to look for a pen and a piece of paper, a notepad, a book, something you can write with. Just take it. If you are connected with your phone and you have your computer that is open beside you, open a blank Word document on your computer, or if you want, it can be the 5 whys. But just open a document where you can type. You can start doing your root cause analysis now. Why am I saying so? Because we know that you are busy professionals. You don't have time. You have your daily work. You have family responsibilities. So if we are here together, we want to help you to move forward with your work. So I'm going to be guiding you. I'll go through a number of slides, just giving you guidance and direction. And at the end of it all, we are going to take a bit of time, give you some time to start writing. If you have already written your root cause analysis, you have the opportunity to share. So I'm going to clear all feedback. And when the time comes, I will invite you to raise your hand if you want to share your own root cause analysis, so that you can receive feedback from colleagues and also from the guys that are here to help you to improve, because that is part and parcel of the peer learning process. So before you start writing your project, make sure that you have found the root cause of your challenge. Make sure that you have found, because you cannot write a project, you cannot write the action steps that you take without doing the root cause analysis. So, and the instructions and examples are available for you. You don't just need to put the responses to the 5 responses to why. Check that each of the why answers your previous finding. And as Jenny said earlier on, and Mary Gloria, if at the end of 5 whys you think that there is still some information that you need to determine the root cause, then ask why again. Even go up to 7 whys. Why not? Until you are able to determine, to be certain that you have the root cause of your challenge. And the document that you are seeing on the screen, if you don't yet have it, I'm going to upload it here in the chat for you. I'm going to upload it here in the chat. It's in your email. Go ahead and download it. So I'm sending it. It's in the chat for you right now. So these are, if you are seeing my screen well, we put some examples, some specific and some versus vague examples of challenges, because one thing, for you to do a good root cause analysis, you need to frame your question well. And your question needs to be framed in a way that somebody that is not working with you can read it and understand exactly what you're talking about. For example, here, this is the challenge. in our local government area, only 60% of children under 5 are fully immunized according to the national schedule. This is significantly below the national target of 80% and puts our community at risk of vaccine preventable disease outbreaks. So it's an example of a specific challenge. Earlier on, we have Bello Haruna that shared his challenge. That is, mothers, they come for immunization to receive the first dose, and they do not come back. And the first question I asked Bello Haruna was, what is your Penta 1 coverage? That's for DTC 1. And what is the DTC 3 coverage? Because a high dropout rate is what makes you to understand that you're losing. Many people don't come back. They don't respect the schedule. So, but on the contrary, we have an example here. You just say some children in our area do not complete their immunizations. This is not good and may cause problem. This is very big, very vague. So these are just some examples, and we'll probably share these slide decks with you. But I will also want to just turn towards Jenny at this moment to ask her, Jenny, can you just take about 3 minutes to explain why it is important for the challenge to be formulated in a way that is quite clear and understandable? Why is it very important for there to be as much information in the challenge for the root cause analysis and the project to be a good one?
Great, thank you, Charlotte. Well, why is it important to have a good problem statement, a good root cause analysis? Because you want to address the peculiarities and the particularities of your location. So for example, if I read your problem statement and your 5 whys, and I can't tell if I'm in Nepal, Nicaragua, or Nigeria, that's a problem because the context is different, the culture is different. Within Nigeria, you have vast differences in culture and religion in many, many different local contexts. And so the more specific that you are about your problem and your 5 whys, the more data and information you use, the more you're able to really uncover and unpack the nuances of that location. So if you just say, there's a problem with vaccine hesitancy, but you don't say, in my community where the majority of people are blah, 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 or this tradition or that tradition, and you're giving not just, when we say data, we're talking about quantitative and qualitative. So it may just be some contextual information about the types of communities, the specific things that are at that root cause level. And then when you move to your interventions, you'll be able to think about some of those peculiarities and develop specific interventions and solutions that address those specific local challenges and local root causes. So I don't know if that helps, but it's just think of yourself as when you look at the end of your root cause analysis, ask yourself, if I gave this to somebody who I don't know and I asked them to read it, would they be able to tell that this is a problem in the specific place where I am? Or would they think this is a problem that could be anywhere in Nigeria or maybe anywhere in the world? I think that's a good basic question to ask yourself, is how specific is it that I can actually tell where I am, where the challenge is, and how that impacts all the different things that are going on in that location. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. And so keep in mind that those who will be peer reviewing your work do not know your context, do not know. So they need to be able to understand where you're coming from. And the second example on that on this table is really about show how your job and place affect this challenge. So as the immunization coordinator for a rural local government area with 10 primary health centers, I observe firsthand the challenges of vaccine delivery in remote areas. Our health centers struggle with maintaining cold chain equipment, and many villages are hard to reach during rainy season, affecting our ability to conduct outreach immunization sessions. So when I read this, I can really understand where this person is coming from, the challenge that they are facing and why. So instead of just having, I work in a health facility and see that giving immunizations is difficult sometimes. Some places are far away and it rains a lot. That is very vague and very unclear. Now, explain how you found the root cause. So I applied the 5 why techniques and I started. So you just say, I applied the 5 why techniques and this is what I found out. So it's good to be clear. Explain where you got your information. So where are you getting your information from? If you are at the LGA level, where is your data from? Do you have access to DHIS2 or other sources of data or information? Do you have information from the mothers, from the community leaders, from the traditional birth attendants, from the traditional practitioners? So where are you getting your information? It is very important for that to be highlighted as well in your work. And then think about causes from people, families, community, and the health system. So at the individual level. So yes, Reda.
Yeah, Charlotte, on explaining where you got your information, I think one really important thing to say there is if you don't know the exact numbers, you don't know your vaccination coverage, for example, and in the applications, 75% of you do not know your vaccination coverage indicators. So if you don't have the basic numbers or you're not sure about them, some of you do not know the population of the area where you live, or at least that's what you said in the application. So you do not need to pretend that you know. Just say, I'm missing information, but here is what I know because I do this every day, because I see caregivers and children every day, or because I manage people who see children and caregivers every day. So if really your root cause that you found, the things that you want to do are based on what you know because of your experience, that is very legitimate, but you need to say that's what it is. I know this because this is my experience. That's what you need to say. And that is okay. It's even better if you say, this is my experience, and these numbers, these data, this backs it up. This shows that my experience is probably right. That's even better. But you do not need to pretend that you know things you don't know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That is very important. So it is okay if you don't know, and for you to provide the information that you know. And one great thing with this peer learning exercise is that it can actually push you to also find out, and you may have a peer that will review your work, that would point you in their peer review on where you can find out the right information. And Charles Obiora, I am seeing your hand is raised, so let me just invite you to unmute. We are going to be sharing this slide deck with you with the other examples. So, yes. Before I turn, yes, Charles Obiera, just give me a moment before I turn towards you. I just want to say what I want you to do now is to write one section of your project. So, and that one section, if you have not yet done your root cause analysis, take a piece of paper, as I told you, and start answering the 5 whys using the guidance document I shared in the chat. I can just share it with you again. So you identify your challenge and then you start doing your root cause analysis by writing the 5 whys. So I've put the document again for you in the chat. And we are going to be asking you in about 15 minutes to read what you have written so that you can get feedback from your peers and from our guides that are in the room. Okay, Charles Obiora, over to you. I hope you are still with us. Charles Obiora, I'm asking you to unmute.
Me. Okay. Thank you, Charlotte, for the opportunity. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
It looks like you are connected on 2 devices. Please, can you mute yourself on the or turn on the other device so that they won't be
I've done so, please. Thank you. Okay. I've just done that. Thanks for the opportunity. Good day, everyone. I want to take up from where Reda shared with us, because some of us are not actually involved directly in immunization and giving out the vaccines to eligible children. So I was just wondering, when we are being asked about the numbers, when we are being asked about the stats, and one may not really have it, how one is going to conclude that part. it becomes a concern for one, so that, while someone may be thinking of how he feels out of the program, or in order to measure up to what is needed in the program, one may be thinking how he gets the stats, how he gets the numbers, if he's not directly involved in vaccination programs before now. So that's just my concern, please, Charlotte.
Okay, thanks. And I think Reda answered that question preemptively by saying it's okay for you to say you don't know. So, and depending on the level of the health system where you are, Reda, I don't know, you're unmuted. I don't know if you wanted to say something.
Yeah, just I didn't want to cut you off, but just to say, it's okay to say you don't know, but then that could be one of your action steps is, to
Yes.
find out, because this is public health. This is not, just, community work or just something you're trying to do. You're trying to, you're trying things to see what happens. This is public health. Public health needs to be based on evidence. So your experience is one kind of evidence. It is important, and it tends to be undervalued. And we want you to value it and recognize how important it is. But evidence backed by, your experience, backed by numbers, backed by information on vaccination coverage, information on the population size, on the ANC coverage, then you've really got something, especially if you can show that there is how they are related. So so that's how I would put it, Charlotte, just in terms of thinking through what you do. Again, you don't have time to go and do research. You don't have time to go and talk to the community. If you have not already done those things, they are very unlikely to happen in the next 24 hours. So use what you have and be honest about what you have and what you don't have. And this can be one of your action steps.
Thank you so much, Reda. And one thing that will show your reviewers that you have thought things through is if you write it out. So it wouldn't be just as if you ignored it, but that the intention is there to find out the information and, and that you thought about it and you're going to take action concerning that. So, Charles, I hope your question is answered. Let me see. I know I deactivate. So I'm just asking you to unmute if you're able to.
All right. Yes, I am satisfied. I'm okay with the answer given by Reda and you, Charlotte. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, and for those, please just do the action, start writing or continue writing your root cause analysis right now. And we'll be coming back to you in a few minutes to find out where you are, even though I know we are almost short on time. So I'm going to be asking Godia Maman, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Your hand is raised.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Ma. And
Yes.
thanks for giving the audience. I just want a little counsel and guidance on my analysis write-up I'm doing. So the problem I noticed with where I work, the LGA I work, particularly here in Sokoto, Godabawa, I'm a social behavioral counselor here, working with UNICEF. So is attitude of parents towards immunization, because what national immunization routines programs, their attitude towards it. So I have answered the first why. I answered the first why. Why does this challenge happen? And it's because of, as I picked some few points, like 4 points or so. First is sociocultural factors, poor or lack of education, perceptions, perceived consequences of the vaccination, husband's influence, mother's proximity to the clinic, side effects of immunization. So I was answering the second why, the third why, I think. So it said under such cultural factors, at least what I've already written down. So I'm trying to read out, maybe possibly you can re-guide me or something. So I stated the factors factors are crucial. The cultural factors are crucial characteristics of the people, which determines their attitude of immunization on children, with either positively or negatively. It happens because parents behave in and they believe in superiority of other alternative treatments. You understand? Like most of them here fighting, like they believe more of them here believe in herbal drugs than the modern drugs. Even as little as paracetamol, most of them don't even believe paracetamol works. They just tell me maybe get a concussion from a stem from a tree to take and all that. So they feel that works for them. So that's one of it. Them educational level, some of them here, due to poor education, because it goes to most of this local government, they really have schools there. The highest school you can get there is primary school, and if you are even fortunate to go to primary school, that's where you stop. From the primary schools, and then because of insecurity down here in the north where we are, Sokoto particularly, most of those places don't get to they don't get to even go to school. So even having prior knowledge of the importance of vaccination is another attitude towards for the parents to accept it, despite the campaigns going on over there, and then perception of consequences of the vaccination. What happens? There was a report of this pivotal controversy over 200 children in 1996 meningitis epidemic, where there was deaths, there was brain damage, or paralysis. So because of that, most of the clerics, Islamic clerics, and then scholars picked that up and then build on it, and it also began to spill conspiracy rumor, and it's also affected the level of acceptance of other vaccinations that came, like polio that later came, because they started spreading rumors that AIDS, polio is about is aimed at spreading AIDS or leading to infertility, and then it's increased the level of rejection from the people over here. The modern proximity over here in this place, they have few primary healthcare clinics in those areas because of insurgents and then distance. So sometimes some settlements are like very far from where the main clinic is. So due to distance, some parents, the mothers don't even tend to bring the children over for vaccination. They don't even go as far as for antenatal. They don't go for antenatal. They give birth at home. It's only when there's a complication in the child during labor, they tend to even find a way to transport the mother back to the hospital, but to the clinic. But all their things, they do it at home because of the distance and maybe poor transportation that is over there. Then side effect of immunization. Then for some some of them hear rumor about the pains, the headache, some boils, rashes on the children, and the pain and all that. So due to lack of the proper idea of aftercare given to a child after immunization, many of them don't even have interest on giving their children for immunization. So I'm on the fourth why. I was trying to explain the fourth why, and so I don't know, can I stop at this 3 whys, because I feel it's okay for me, and no, you can also help me.
I just want to ask you a question before I turn towards Jenny, if she has some more questions for you. So at the level where you are, what will you retain as the root cause of this challenge?
It's just their behavior, their attitude towards the parents' attitude towards immunization. Anyone, be it malaria, be it polio and all that, meningitis, their attitude towards it's what's the root cause of, for me.
And can you act on it?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I believe
so
more education, possibly maybe taking out role plays would also, or maybe inviting let's say people that have, let me say, is this success victims, I call them now, or victims that have overcome such challenges, would also maybe encourage them, I don't know, or role play. I believe maybe role play will show them maybe drama or something, and then those places that are far, I don't know those places, and how can I want to ask now for help, like how can I influence maybe increasing the number of health? Is it possible? Like, okay, give me an idea of how to maybe influence in the local government area where I work, or towards the state level, how to influence them on some of these villages that should increase at least 1 or 2 health clinics. there that can also help, because it's like sometimes the health clinic are bombarded with many people with few staffs to attend to them.
Okay, so thank you, Godia. Before we continue, we are at the 30 minutes mark, and we do respect your time. We said the session was going to be 30 minutes, but the conversation is always so interesting. So I'm going to ask you a question. If you want us to continue with this session, can you type yes in the chat so that we'll be able to respond to Godia's question and also feedback on her. So can you type yes in the chat? I see one no. So, but
And Charlotte, some people may have to go back to their daily duties, so we understand that. Of course, vaccinating children, protecting children from vaccine preventable diseases is your job, and we want you to focus on that. We'll be sharing the recording so you can catch up. We are going to try something new, which is so you can actually, rather than just talk about your project, you can actually work on it. I believe that's what Charlotte is going to tell you next. It's a very practical approach where you won't be wasting your time for those of you who are able to stay. And I think it's brilliant, Charlotte, what you've come up with. I can't wait to see if it works.
yes, Reda, so it's already ongoing because we are going to be turning towards participants in the room to ask where they are with writing. I already told them to take out notepads and those who are on the computer to proceed, especially for those who are not yet started with the root cause analysis. But I think there was a comment in the chat before we started getting the flow of yeses. Okay, I see Rashida that says, Godi, I think you need to support them by mobilizing the community towards advocating to the government. So I'm going to before I turn towards Jenny, if she has more questions for you, Godi, I'm going to ask Rashida, are you able to unmute yourself?
All right, yeah. Hello?
Yeah, and to
afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Well done, and well done, Godia, with the scenario you gave. I think based on the scenario you just presented, is like there is need for you to look around and to identify some some organizations, local organizations that are around your community or that is working in your state or local government, for them to come in and support your idea of the advocacy of a team, because they are the ones that their voices will be heard by the government. Because sometimes if you cannot work by yourself, and you cannot support yourself unless if you look around to see, because the government will only listen to what the community demands. And sometimes the community demands cannot be heard directly until when they follow through the community, through the local organizations that are working towards supporting them, because they are the voices of the community. So this is what I can only talk much of it. And they can also work towards meeting working with the associations, the religious and tradition, to go together, mobilize together, to speak with one voice. So this is it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Rashida. So Jenny, you have been listening to Godi. I don't know, any questions or thoughts that you have?
Thanks, Charlotte. I wrote a note in the chat, really trying to encourage Godia to think about focusing on one root cause, because what she mentioned is very complex, and Sokoto has many challenges. So for your location, Godia, I would say you mentioned challenges related under the poor attitudes related to people don't value immunization. They're looking to traditional or herbal medicines. You mentioned another issue related to services being far from households. So I would choose one of those issues and then focus in understanding and unpacking that one issue. So if it's that people use traditional medicines and don't value immunization, you can ask why a few more times. And if it's that facilities are too far, then focus on the why of that until you're satisfied that you've gotten to a very detailed, specific thing under that, if you addressed it, it could have impact and have change some of the main challenges that you mentioned. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you to Godia for sharing that. And just to say, at times you may feel we have so many challenges, and there may seem to be so many causes and so many things you think you can do. That's where it is important to prioritize and to say, okay, this is what I'm going to tackle at this time. And when I've succeeded in tackling it, I can address the next one. So that is really important. So right now, I just want to turn towards Magaji Garba. Magaji, your hand is raised. Are you able to? Okay, please go ahead.
Good evening, Charles. How are you?
I'm good.
Hello.
Thank you. And you? Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes. I've started writing my RCA for now, but one of the problems is, yes, I missed the yesterday's event throughout, because as I was started, we're having a serious and emergency. We had to take somebody to the hospital. So I missed yesterday's program. I'm now back to here. My problem is I'm now currently unemployed, but I work with the UNICEF, WHO, Sidani for about more than 10 to 15 years. And I'm also a community worker. My problem now is, if I identify my RCA and I wrote it, how can I conduct it? Because I'm no more working for now. Because some of my problems has to do with political influences, no felt need, and then no ownership from some of the communities. But like I said, this is the problems, this is the challenges, and I can write the whys as much as I can. But to whom? How can I implement it since I'm unemployed now? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Magaji Garba. So the question I just want to ask you is, are you part of the community where the challenge is occurring?
Come again?
Are you part of the community?
Yes, some of these communities, I have worked with them, especially some of the those LGS Kano during the measles campaign, and I found the problems. There are a lot of challenges there. We have 15,000 those LGS in Kano. So I have worked a lot of them during the measles campaign and identify most of the problem. But unfortunately, we work only for three months since it is a measles campaign.
Okay, so Magaji, what I can tell you is, remember, for this exercise, we say you should identify a priority challenge that you can do something about. So, and my question, why I ask you, are you part of the community, is because if the challenge is a challenge that my community is facing, it means I can have access maybe to approach my community leaders or the authorities to be able to do something about it. So that's why I was asking you the question.
Yes, like in Komboso LGA, I was part of the community because my house in at the LGA. That's where I'm living.
Okay, so because you are,
and it's easy for me. Sometimes it's easy for me to have dialogue with the religious vocal person, but the problem is I don't have an asset to the political leaders.
Okay, then start with where you are. So start with what you can do. If you have access with the religious leaders, you can start from there. And then maybe one of the actions you're taking could be to go through the religious leaders to be able to connect or to do an advocacy, that is advocate for the religious, with the religious leader to support you and be able to connect you with the political leader. So it's just for you to, like I said, we said earlier on, have you thought about it? Are you able to do? If you're not, what can you do to be able to carry it out, or to have access to the information or to the people that you want in order to solve your challenge?
Okay, when the last time when we were conducting the music campaign, I was able to conduct sensitization, dialogue, compound meeting, a lot of this in, and we were able to sensitize people from far away that they are within the 0.0 LGS. We are able to convince people to come and take the vaccines at that time.
Okay. Thank you so much, Magaji, and I wish you the best with the root cause analysis.
Thank you very much. But again, Charlotte, please. I'm using for the template that we used for Dave Voice today's report. Are we using the same template, or there's another template that we are going to be used for our? Because I'm using that template, I'm editing it to write my own RCA on it.
Okay, so we did not provide any template for the RCA, but some of you have decided on your initiative to use the note takers template. As long as you can remove the letterhead because it was prepared for group work, and then you write on it, or you can write a blank document, there is no problem.
Okay, thank you very much. We are waiting for the link to submit. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Okay, we were going to give you the instructions. Okay, so I'm seeing a question from Nafisa Isa in the chat. When writing the root cause analysis, am I to start with the 5 whys? Yes, that is the beginning of your root cause analysis. You identify your challenge. Once you have identified your challenge, your most important immunization challenge, then you do a root cause analysis. And the root cause analysis is actually asking why 5 times, but making sure that the answer to the why, to each why is linked to the previous one. So that is very important. And once you have been able to determine the root cause of your challenge, then you can go to the next stage of your work, which is to identify the actions that you can take to solve that challenge. So I hope that is clear. We can listen to one person that we haven't listened to before, Gregory Agogo. Are you able to unmute? And after Gregory, we'll listen to Gloria Anyau. So those are the 2 we'll listen to before I come back to the rest of the room. If you have been writing, to share what you have written. Gregory, over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Charlotte, and colleagues on this call. I have already put my comments on the chat, particularly following the comments by Rada, because even by yesterday, I observed that our approach to the root cause analysis was a little bit subjective, because like we said, like the slide you just shared, it has to be specific. You have to mention, in fact, you have to use data. So for a person like me, just like the person who just committed, I'm a retired person. I no longer work in the LGA, even in the state. I've retired from Borno. I'm now in Lagos. And when this call was made, we felt in our usual way of trying to identify with immunization, we applied. But from what I'm hearing, from the clarity of what I've seen in this presentation of today, I think that for a group like us, we should be able to maybe come in to help in a peer review of the root cause analysis done by younger people who are still doing the work. Because I live in Lagos, Borno State is almost 1 hour, 30 minutes by flight from here. So to be able to get to that place would be a difficult situation. So the first part of the assignment, the root cause analysis, the why and why and why can be done. But, you know, how do I carry on the second aspect? So that is do I say my question or my observation? But I have, you know, made a comment in the chat box. Thank you very much, Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Gregory. And I know with the wealth of experience that you have, probably when you do a root cause and maybe suggest some actions, those colleagues that will peer review your work will surely learn something from it. So, and it could actually be something that they could take and apply in their context in Borno State. If, for instance, if you decide to situate your root cause analysis based on your experience in Borno. So we know that there are participants in this cohort that are from Borno. It can be a resource that could even be useful to others that are working in Borno. So I think I just want to salute you as well as Magaji Garba and all the other immunization professionals that are retired but not tired and are still able to join this peer learning exercise to share their knowledge with the younger generation. So thank you very much for doing that and for even being ready and available to carry out the exercise and take it to the end. So please just do what you can do and share. And as you talked about peer review, also participate in the peer review process so that the younger colleagues can learn from your wealth of experience. Gloria Anyau.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Gloria.
Okay. I've actually started writing my root cause analysis. I've gone far, and luckily it was mine that was chosen by my group to discuss yesterday. So I've actually gone a long way. In about I was planning to leave the group, so I don't know if there'll be anything important because I need to attend to something at work. So I don't know if it's allowed for us to leave right now.
Yes, Gloria,
that's just what I want to share.
Yes, Gloria, you can leave. Officially, the official time for the session is over. We actually extended because we asked the group and the majority of those present said that they wanted us to continue. But I'm going to share a link in the chat, Gloria, how to join the peer review platform and eventually to submit your root cause analysis. If you can just copy the link and then have a look at it later on, that will be useful, especially as you said that you have made progress with your root cause analysis. So I'm just sharing the link in the chat. Okay, so thank you, Gloria. And I saw someone in the chat asking that they wanted us to go through the rubric step by step. So I'm going to stop sharing my slides and open the rubric so that we can go through it. And I am sure, especially for those who indicated that they were lost or have not yet started writing their root cause analysis, it will be helpful. But I want to ask one person, I'm going to clear all feedback, just one person, if you have written something while we were having the conversation today, if you have been able to make progress with your root cause analysis, please, can you just raise your hand now and we will turn towards you. You want to share what you have written as far as your root cause analysis is concerned. Okay, the first person that raised their hand was Kenneth Oviawe. Kenneth, okay, go ahead. We are listening to you. Please, can you read what you have written?
Okay, thank you very much. So what I wrote for the problem, I said low accessibility of immunization in Ojuara ward of Ebede local government of Osun State. So especially in Ojo community. The community, the ward comprised of two communities, but the health center is only in one community. So the other community goes to the community to get to access health services, including immunization. The why, the first one is the distance barrier. And the second why is the distance that the parents of the babies, they lack interest, basic interest because of the distance. Then the next why is lack of adequate information on health, on the child's health. And the next one is the reason why we have that low information is because we have limited manpower in the health center to pass this information to the community. And the reason why we also have that one is due to government policy. Government are not employing much staff, so we have that as an issue. And that is also due to lack of political willpower of political leaders to employ more staff. So those are my whys.
Okay, so is that where you ended, or did you start writing maybe some actions that you can take? So if I lost you for a moment, so can you tell me what have you decided is the root cause of your problem from those whys?
So the root cause is the government policy, policy on recruitment of staff.
Okay.
Because if you have enough staff, staff, for instance, if you have 3 staff in the health center, 2 of the staff or 1 of them can go to the next community that shares that same center and provide services to the children over there. Because we have just 1 staff, it can't share even ourselves into two different communities. And those 2 communities only have 1 health center that they benefit from. So the cause is government policy on recruitment. And in my state, just recently, they started recruiting, but the recruitment basically is in the main city. Most of those health workers don't want to come to the rural areas to work, so they prefer to stay in the main city. So the rural areas are suffering in terms of manpower. So I believe that what we can need to do is to make mobilize community to do advocacy to the local government chairman to see how we can talk to them if the local government chairman can employ volunteers, health volunteers to those rural areas. So that will also help a lot. So that's what I've come up with.
Okay, thank you so much, Kenneth. Jenny, any questions or thoughts for Kenneth?
Sorry, I was answering one of the questions from Fatima in the chat. I didn't quite catch the question. My apologies.
Yeah, so anyway, Kenneth didn't have a question. He just shared he has done his root cause analysis and arrived at the root cause, and he's about to take action, and his action is to mobilize community leaders to write to the local government area chairman to be able to recruit more personnel for the health facility that can carry out routine immunization activities in different communities. So that was it. And I thought, yeah, so Kenneth was able to do a good analysis and to reach at the root cause. And his action is, I know he is not directly responsible for recruitment, but he can influence action at the level of community leaders.
Yeah, so the question with the root cause analysis is it feasible to take action? And if he believes it's feasible, that if he's able to connect with the right influencers and able to reach high-level advocacy, then I think that's a great exercise. It might take a long time to do that, so your timeline may be quite long, but trying to think about different techniques to use and different channels. So, LGA chairman, maybe also working through the health system for requests, but doing a multi-channel approach to that one root cause would be useful. And I think in the note takers exercise yesterday, the question was, what are your short-term and long-term activities? So I would encourage Kenneth to think about that whole spectrum of what can I do immediately versus what will take much longer, because this type of advocacy has huge implications if an LGA and a state cannot afford additional health workers. It's not just adding the health workers, it's forever being able to make the salary payments for the additional health workers.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jenny. And Selina Enyoha, your mic is unmuted. So please, can you share what you have written?
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be part of this program. My own problem is a community rejection of vaccination. My first why is, why does the community reject the vaccination? Because they do not trust the vaccines and those administering it. Then my second why is, does the community lack trust in vaccination program? Because they don't have adequate information and knowledge on the program. The third one is lack of adequate information and knowledge, because they are not actively involved from the inception or planning stages of initiatives. The fourth why is because the community structures are not involved from the beginning, because they're not considered important to be involved in the inception, from the inception to the planning stage. So because of that, the third why is due to selective implementation of immunization programs. So because of this, the community felt they're not, the government feels they're not important, because the policies, we have an immunization policy in Nigeria, but it is not followed the way it should be. So because of, do I call it nepotism? People they invite or involve those who don't even have interest in what they're doing, because of pecuniary interest or their relations, they involve them. And this can cause, dampen the spirit of those who really want to work. So that is my why for rejection.
Okay, thank you so much, Selina. Are there anyone that wants to give feedback to Selina on her root cause analysis? Okay, I saw Rashida, your hand just went up when I asked that question. So I'm assuming that it's because you want to comment on Selina's root cause analysis. Is that the case? Or was it accidental? Okay, it was probably accidental. And Chiamaka, there are no room group works. Group works are over, so no more room assignments. From now, you should focus on your individual work, so there'll be no more group work going forward, at least until you're able to submit your root cause analysis. Yes, Rashida, I'm asking you to unmute.
Okay, hello.
Yes.
Okay, well done. My observation on one part is that even though, sometimes behavioral changes is a little bit tricky. Hello?
Yes, we are listening to you.
Okay, behavioral changes is a little bit tricky per se, though, sometimes if we tend not to work, yesterday we were told to look at these issues, to put ourselves like leaders, in the shoes of leaders, what can we bring and what can we decide to overcome such issues that is happening on immunization. Though, sometimes in the planning stage, normally communities were involved, but at some point, due to the concerns of conflict of interest and a negative perception of the finances that may come after. So, but I think there is one key thing that you need to think around. many of their communities, let's say the ward development officers, let's say the religious leaders, they are part and parcels of immunization. Majority of the traditional leaders, they are part and parcel of immunization. It's just that the behaviors that they are infusing into their people that is preventing them from one of the immunization component and the other, not to encourage them, instead of them to encourage them, but they tend to just leave them like that, to influence them not to be prevented from accepting the immunization. But in this point, I can consider there is a lack of information, misinformation that is happening in the community. That is why they tend not to partake in the patronization of immunization because of their personal interests and the rest of the negative perception they are receiving from the community leaders. Majority of the community leaders, they are the ones convincing the community not to accept such vaccinations. And again, the one key root causes that I understand with the Selena's work is that there is a gap in the implementation of the immunization, and that's the providers of the immunizations. That is why maybe they got a negative information. The communities are rejecting immunization. So this is the things that I think it needs for Selena to consider it as her root causes, because we need to mobilize, we need to advocate, we need to sensitize them to know that this is to introduce them first, the information of immunization, to give a brief introduction of immunization to the community for them to have a buy-in, for us to start coming in to inject their children or to bring the services to them. So this is it. Thank you. Over.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rashida. While you were talking, I put up this slide on the screen just to remind us that when we are asking the 5 why, at each point, when you ask the first why and you get the answer, and you ask the second why, always check that the second why answers
the first why
is a response to your previous finding. So yeah, so it's very important because at the end of the day, else you'll be trying to solve a problem that does not actually exist.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll be solving a problem that does not exist. But for you to be able to solve the right problem, you need to identify the right root cause. Yes. So Selena, I don't know if that is helpful, and you know, if that will help you to move forward with your root cause analysis and writing out your project fully.
Actually, I chose the selective implementation of the Nigerian policy on immunization because I'm talking from experience. During the time of this immunization, the people at the helm of affairs tend to pick those who may not have the skills to do the work, and that dampens the spirit of those who really want to work. So, which is not good. So that's what I want to talk about here. That's the one I feel is the cause of the rejection. And when such a thing happens, the people from the community, you know, they may not consider medical ethics. They could go and be discussing what happened to the community, and the community may now get annoyed and they refuse to take the immunization.
Okay, thank you. So we are actually out of time, but I have good news. I have good news. A lot of people were asking in the chat, is there a template? Is there a template? And Reda just decided to help you and to help us, to help me to answer respond to that challenge, probably after doing a root cause analysis. And so there is a template For anyone that needs a template, that wants to use a template for their to do their root cause analysis and project, there is a template available for you. And I'm going to, first of all, give it to all of you that have remained in the room up till this moment. So I'll put it in the chat so that you can download it right now. So it's uploading, and there it is. It is in the chat. I've just put it in the chat for you, Maimuna Tata, who just asked the question while I was actually answering to it. I put the template. So if you see the template in the chat, just tell me yes, confirm that you have seen the template and that you are able to download it. Okay, that's reassuring. Okay, great. So yeah, I've just uploaded it again for those who are just noticing the comments now. So you should be able to download the template that you will use to write your root cause analysis and then submit. So one last thing I wanted to share with you again was, I'll just share my screen again for a moment. If for those who joined early, I shared with you a tutorial on how to join the peer review platform. And so now, and I promised that at the end, I was going to do that again. So, but right now it's going to be different. It's going to be different. At the beginning, I shared a video, but if a YouTube video, I'll share the link again. But if you don't have YouTube, here is a link, a web page that shows you how to join the peer review platform with pictures. So the YouTube video is embedded here, and then there is a step-by-step tutorial. So you just have to scroll down. The email, you need to find the email in your inbox. And we added you to the platform using the email that you use in the application. So you find that email. The email is from OpenCraft, tglf@opencraft.hosting to you. And it is inviting you. You have been invited to the Nigeria Immunization Collaborative Root Cause Analysis. Once you are there, you need to click on Finish Your Registration. It's the blue icon. If you don't see this email, please check your spam. So check your spam or your junk mails. And once you have checked your spam, you need to remove us from the junk mail. So you need to click the option, Never Send Future Messages from this to junk folder, and click OK. That way, future emails from us will go directly from the platform, will go directly to your inbox. So that's quite important. And then the next step is for you to now click report not spam. The direction is there. Once you do that, you have to create your account on the platform. So when you click on finish registration, you'll be brought to a page that looks like this. You need to type your name, your email, the same email that you used to apply for the course. And then there is going to be an option for you to choose a username. Choose the option that you like best, that you can remember. But the advice for you is to write it down somewhere. Write down your email and your pass and the username. And then the password, you write a password. The conditions for password, 1 number, 1 letter, 1 number, 8 characters at least. So you write down the password that you will remember, and you click on create account. Once you do that, you have to return to your email address because you have to activate your account on the platform. So you return to your email address. You return to because once you create, you have to return to your email address to activate your account. So you would have received another email from OpenCraft. There you click on activate account. Click on activate account. And once you click, you will see, you'll be brought back to a confirmation screen. You'll be brought to a confirmation screen. And then now you have access to the platform. I'm going down a little bit fast because we are out of time. But so you click, you'll now be able to see this, my courses, Nigeria Immunization Collaborative Root Cause Analysis. And then you click on begin course, begin course. Once you click on begin course, you'll see that the exercise that you have to carry out is written there, root cause analysis. That's what you have to do. So you should bookmark the link on your browser. You should be able to see an icon that enables you to add the link to your favorites. I don't know if you're, so on my computer, it is a little star. If you're using Google Chrome, there's a little star like this. You click on the star to bookmark the page. So that is what you do so that you can easily come back to it later on. So how to access the so you have instructions how to access the platform. After you have created your account, you see the peer review activity, and also you'll be able to see the peer review module. So I'm going to advise you, if you have finished with your root cause analysis, take the time to go through this tutorial. You can also watch the YouTube video, and then you follow the instructions step by step so that you can submit. And if you have any challenges with that, you send us a message on Telegram and show up tomorrow for the peer support session, and we'll be there to help you with that. So I'm putting the link in the chat for you. That link will also be available on the...
And Charlotte, I have good news, which is that every participant who's registered in Zoom, or as well as every participant who has who received a formal letter of acceptance is going to receive the invitation to join the peer review platform in the next hour or so. So as soon as you receive the email that Auntie Charlotte has shown you, please proceed. Use the step-by-step tutorial if you don't remember exactly what Charlotte is showing you now, but join the platform as soon as you can, even if you have not yet finished your RCA project. That way, when you do finish, if it's Friday night, you do not get stuck, because there will be a lot of Nigerian health professionals, health leaders trying to submit their RCA project at the same time. So make sure you have at least registered on the platform as soon as you can. And really, really appreciating, this was a great discussion. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for everything you are doing for and with participants. And thank you, participants, for this is probably, of all the countries that we have worked with, this is probably the most impressive group. So I really want to commend you and encourage you to get to the finish line. This is like a mini marathon. So don't give up. If you have any problem, we are here for you. We will stand with you. We will walk with you, and we'll run if necessary to get to the finish line tomorrow night.
Thank you so much, Reda. And just to reassure you, you are going to receive the email. And thanks, Reda, for doing everything to ensure that participants have access to the platform this evening. So go ahead and try to sign in. And for you who have participated in our programs before, please, it is not the same platform. It is not the same platform. It is a different platform. So look out for that email. Look out for that email to be able to access this platform. So I'm going to allow everyone to unmute. So I'm going to ask everyone to unmute right now. And so I'm asking everyone to unmute just to
hi everyone.
Well, God bless
Hi, thank you, ma.
Bye.
Thank you so
tomorrow.
much. Thank you.
From Bauchi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, from Kano. From Bauchi.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Choose.
Yeah, I'm Remy in
Say
teleplatform.
go,
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Present. Have your present.
Thank you. Bye bye.
It's not